You're 15 years old. Your shoes have holes in the soles. Your mother is working double shifts at the hospital. Your father left 3 years ago and you haven't seen him since. The apartment you share has roaches in the kitchen and a window that's been cracked since before you can remember. You don't own a video game console. You don't own a bike. You don't own anything that matters except one thing. A worn-out football. The leather is peeling. The laces are frayed. It's the most valuable thing in your life. The kids in your neighborhood have equipment. They have cleats. They have parents who drive them to practice. You have a concrete wall behind the apartment building and a dream that feels too big for your small chest. You kick that ball against that wall for hours, every single day, rain or shine, hot or cold. The neighbors complain about the noise. You don't stop. You can't stop. You start watching football on the cracked TV in your living room. You don't just watch. You study. You notice how the quarterback's fingers grip the ball. You notice how the receiver plants his foot before cutting. You notice angles, spacing, timing, things other kids your age don't see. You don't have a coach. You don't have a trainer. You have your eyes and your brain and that wall. By the time you're 18, you're faster than every kid on the block. By 20, you're playing pickup games with the high school kids and holding your own. They don't know your name. They call you the kid with the messed up shoes. You don't care what they call you. You just keep playing. Your mother comes home exhausted. She works 12-hour shifts. She brings home food from the hospital cafeteria. Leftovers. That's dinner. That's breakfast. That's lunch. You're hungry all the time. Not the kind of hungry you feel in your stomach. The kind of hungry you feel in your bones. That's different. That kind of hunger doesn't go away when you eat. It stays with you. It drives you. You start running to school. It's 2 miles each way. You don't do it to get there faster. You do it to build your legs. You do it because you have no other way to train. The sidewalk is your track. The traffic lights are your intervals. You get to high school. You try out for the team. The coach looks at you like you're a joke. You're small, you're skinny. Your gear is secondhand and falling apart. You make the team anyway. Not because you're talented, because you never quit. Because when the other kids are walking, you're sprinting. When they're complaining, you're running wind sprints until your legs give out. You're made for more. You're still not starting. You're on the scout team. You play the role of the opposing team's offense. It's not glamorous. You get hit. You get knocked down. You get back up every single time. The starters get the praise. They get the attention. They get the girls. You get the bruises. You get the practice jersey that's too big for you. You get the bus ride home alone while the rest of the team is celebrating. You don't complain. You don't stop. You start waking up at 4:30 in the morning, before school, before practice. You run the stairs at the stadium, up and down, counting in your head. Your legs burn, your lungs burn. You don't care. Nobody sees you do this. Nobody knows. Your mother finds out. She finds you crying in your room one night, not because you're sad, because your legs are cramping so bad you can't straighten them. You've been pushing too hard. Your body is telling you to stop. You refuse. She sits on the bed and holds you. She doesn't say it's going to be okay. She just sits there. That's enough. Your junior year, something changes. You grow. 4 inches in one summer, your body fills out. All those concrete blocks you lifted in the backyard, all those stairs, all those miles, they start showing up. You're the guy who does all the little things, the guy who works harder than everyone. Your signing bonus is $1.2 million, the biggest number you've ever seen. Your mother cries when you tell her, not because of the money, because you did it. You actually did it. The other rookies go crazy. Cars, jewelry, parties. You go to the bank. You open an account. You're 22 years old and the world is yours. You don't buy a car. You don't buy a house. You don't buy anything flashy. You think about that concrete wall. You think about your mother. You think about the future. You invest. You find someone who knows money better than you do. You don't trust anyone who promises you something for nothing. You find a boring advisor who talks about index funds and compound interest. You listen. 50% goes into investments. Conservative, boring, long-term investments. The kind that don't make you rich overnight but make you rich eventually. 20% goes into cash reserves, the emergency fund your mother never had. 20% goes into a small duplex in a working-class neighborhood. Nothing fancy, just something that produces cash flow. 10% is for living. Your first season, you're a role player. The special teams captain. The guy who leads by example. the guy who never misses a workout, the guy who stays after practice to run routes. You start getting playing time, more than anyone expected. You're not flashy, but you're effective. You read defenses like a quarterback. You know where the holes are. You find open space, you move chains, the fans notice, the coaches notice, the league starts to take notice. Your second year, you're in the starting lineup. Not because you were supposed to be, because you earned it. Because the guy ahead of you got hurt and you never gave the job back. You play 16 games, all of them. You're on the field for every meaningful snap. You catch 65 passes, you score 8 touchdowns. You're a mid-round pick who outperformed every first-round draft pick at your position. Your contract is up for renewal. The team offers you $15 million over 3 years. You negotiate. Hard. Not because you're greedy, because you know your worth, because you know the market, because you know what you've sacrificed. You get $24 million over 4 years. It's not the biggest deal in the league, but it's yours. You earned every penny. Your investment portfolio is growing. The duplex you bought is now 4 properties. The boring index funds are working. Compound interest is doing what compound interest does. Quiet, steady, relentless. Your 3rd year, your 4th year. You're a veteran now. You help the rookies. You teach them what you wish someone had taught you. About the game, about the money, about the life after. You make 2 Pro Bowls. Not because you're a superstar. Because you're consistent. Because you're reliable. Because when the game is on the line, you want the ball in your hands. Your 5th year. The big one. The contract that changes everything. You sign a deal worth $88 million over 5 years. $40 million guaranteed. You're 27 years old and you just became a multi-millionaire. You don't celebrate. You don't buy anything. You think about all the times you ate leftovers from your mother's hospital cafeteria. You think about the cracked TV. You think about the kids who are where you were. The money goes to work, not into things, into assets. You start a real estate fund. You buy more properties. You become a partner in a sports agency. You invest in health tech, in nutrition, in the future of the game. Your 6th year. You get injured. A torn hamstring. You miss 8 games. The team struggles without you. The narrative changes. They say you're over the hill. They say you're too old, too slow, too expensive. You hear the whispers. They don't stop you. You rehab harder than you've ever worked. You come back for the playoffs. You play the game of your life in the wild card round. The team wins. You win. Your 7th year. Your 8th year. You're no longer the flashy player, but you're still the smart one. The one who reads defenses like a book. The one who knows when to run, when to catch, when to block. You're invaluable. Your net worth crosses $100 million or you're 29 years old. You've been investing for 7 years. The compounding is real. The assets produce income whether you play or not. Your 9th year. The final year of your contract. The team offers you a 1-year deal. They're scared of your age. You take it. You don't complain. You have nothing to prove but everything to build. You focus on the future, the life after. You start a production company. You buy into a professional soccer team. You expand your real estate portfolio into the commercial properties. The empire grows. Your 10th year. You retire. You walk away on your own terms. You have no regrets. You gave everything. The media asks what you're going to do. You tell them you've been planning for this day for 20 years. You tell them you've already built the machine. You're just stepping into the driver's seat now. Your net worth is $350 million. You're 35 years old. The world is yours. You launch a private equity fund, $1.2 billion raised in the first round. You invest in sports, media, technology. You create deals. You structure acquisitions. You build. Your name becomes a brand. Not because of what you did on the field, because of what you've done off it. Because you took a kid with no shoes, a cracked window, a single mother, and turned him into a foundation. You give back. Not through charity, through infrastructure. You build training facilities in underserved neighborhoods. You pay coaches. You create programs. You tell every kid you meet the same thing. The odds are against you. That's exactly why you fight. Your mother is healthy. You bought her a house. She still works part-time at the hospital because she loves it. She's proud of you, not for the money, for the man you became. Your 38th birthday. You check the numbers. $1.1 billion. You sit alone in your office. No party. No celebration. You think about the 15-year-old kid kicking a ball against a wall. You think about your mother coming home exhausted. You think about every staircase, every skipped meal, every rejection. You feel a quiet satisfaction. Not because you've arrived, because you know you never will. Because the game doesn't end, it changes, and you'll always adapt. You go to the park the next morning. You see a kid, maybe 14 years old, worn out shoes, cracked football, eyes full of hunger. You walk over. You don't tell him your name. You don't tell him how much money you have. You just say, "Show me what you've got." The kid kicks the ball. You watch it spin. You see the potential. You see yourself. You give him a piece of advice. You tell him to keep going, to never stop, to remember that no one is coming to save him. He has to save himself. The kid nods. He doesn't understand yet, but someday he will. You walk away. The empire is built. The machine is running. The game is still going, and the sun is setting on another Tuesday.